Welcome to this edition of When the Biomass Hits the Wind Turbine, a discussion of sustainable living and what that means to you and me. I'm Jay Warmke.
And today I'm Farmer Annie.
You're Farmer Annie Warmke. And today we're going to talk about women in agriculture, or I can bring home the bacon. Do you remember? That was like the most condescending commercial. I don't even remember what it was about. Except
it's a real song.
I know. Well, okay. Well, it's still condescending.
It was a very popular BS song.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, what we're talking about is that women, I mean, it's not a new thing. Women have been in agriculture since.
Okay. But I just want to say it's new to the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Well, there's a lot of things new to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, like organics and like nutrition.
No, it's not. That's not new. So. The nutrition part maybe. But here's the thing. So up until 2017, women were not even able to be counted in the United States Department of Agriculture census unless they were the only person on the farm. There was only one slot for a name of who managed the farm. And a lot of women don't think of themselves as farmers, even though they're doing farming, because they have a fella and he's running the tractor, and that's apparently what farming means to an awful lot of people. But so today I am going to be the farmer, the woman farmer, and I want to talk a little bit about, what that means to be a woman farmer, and then I want to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the grant money that's out there for specifically women, which are considered underserved by the USDA and other groups, and we definitely are that. So, but the real advantage and the real plus here to investing in women in farming is we farm on smaller pieces of land, we produce more food, and
you're better at it.
Yeah, we're better at it because what they showed is if we had the same access to productive resources as men, we increase yields on farms by 20 to 30%. And we also work together, which is a shocker, and help each other. And I can talk about some programs, some mentoring programs and things like that, that really help women to connect. And my career as a farmer has been in also working to connect women together.
And men are basically hunter-gatherers, which is why we have drive-through windows, because we're gathering. I don't know. Something. Who
That's
knows?
Funny.
Okay.
The look on your face when you said that. Just keep it up. I don't care. You can trash males all you want.
Right. Well,
tell
me the statistics.
Okay.
Tell me the statistics about women in farming.
Well, in general, in the world, 564 million work in agriculture. Unfortunately, a lot of our work is unpaid because we grow food in gardens and sell food that way. In some areas, women make up a majority of the agricultural workers, such as in South Asia and the Subsaharan Africa. 60% of all working women are in agriculture there, which is amazing if you think about it, and not in a good kind of way in agriculture. They are subjected to all kinds of insects and just really harsh working conditions.
Well, being a farmer, regardless, is pretty hard work. I mean, in almost any situation.
That's true. And when we think about what a farmer looks like, we see that picture that's up above the dairy section in the grocery store of the guy with his little straw hat on, sitting on a John Deere or a Farmall tractor, and there's a cute red barn behind him. And that is not farming life, and it hasn't been farming life for a very long time. So just going back to the 2017 census by the USDA, and think about it, that's quite a while ago. And so we don't have current statistics yet, but it revealed that 36% of U.S. farmers are women. And 56% of all farms have at least one female decision maker. And so what they did with that information is they got all excited and they said, oh, look at this. There's an increase in women going into agriculture. And that is true that there is an increase, but not at the level that they were stating. Suddenly we've been discovered. And we are no longer invisible. And that's not true.
Well, it seems to me that if 56% of the farms have women in a decision-making role, then 56% of the farms or the farmers are women.
Well, okay, you can argue statistics all you want, but so we're just going to talk briefly about some of this. So, women farmers are the most heavily engaged in day to day farming and ranch decisions, including record keeping and financial management. And that's a lot of what women do on the farm, one of their jobs. So, the other thing that's interesting is that 43% of agriculture labor force in developing countries are women, ranging from 20% in Latin America to 50% in Eastern Asia and Saharan Africa. And the thing that's interesting, if you think about that and sort of play it out a little bit, is that a lot of those people that are migrating into Europe or into the US or Canada because of the conditions in their country are farm people. They are not urban people per se. Yes, many, many urban people. So they're coming and they don't have any way to make a living, but they have farming skills. And we need them. We definitely need them, but that's another show. So a lot of the problems too is that for women, the statistics don't capture our unpaid work. So, we care for our kids. We are the maids. We are and I'm generalizing, of course, we are the cooks and the bottle washers. And we also then are farmers. And maybe we even have an off-site, an off-farm job as well. So often when I talk to women, it's unbelievable how many hours in the day that they carve out to just sleep because they're working all the time. So across America, it says that 1.2 million female agriculture producers in 2019 worked on farms. So that's a really big statistic. But I think what we need to do is to kind of think about what it means if women had a much stronger voice um, in agriculture. And so one of the things that we find that women need in the work that I do is confidence building, and that comes mainly from achieving things, successful achieving things, and also in learning new skills. So a lot of times we don't have a lot of these basic skills like carpentry, electrical, welding, just some simple skills in that. And once we work with women and help them develop some of these skills, even as simple as backing up a trailer, we see a change in how they see their work. And also, I think the other challenge is that if you want to be a farmer, and again, we're talking about women in agriculture, so it isn't just the farmer, but it's also all the other jobs that come with that in marketing and grain sales and things. Um, if you want to make a living at being a farmer on your land or someone else's land, you have to have a lot more skill sets, and you have to have the ability to do marketing and amazing skill sets.
Well, I think we see that a lot with people who come here to Blue Rock Station, and they have this sort of an idealized vision of what it's like to get back to the land and be a homesteader, not necessarily a agribusiness type, but they don't really realize that it's a business. It's a business first. You've got bookkeeping, you've got governmental regulations you've got to adhere to, you've got marketing,
You
you've
have
got
buildings.
you've got employee issues and how to communicate properly.
Well,
And
the skill sets are
if you're going out
phenomenal.
to farmers markets, you've got retail experiences and cash management and there's it's huge. It's
Yeah.
a huge business.
Well, just in looking at, having a business plan, a basic business plan that you can follow that helps you measure if you've earned a living or not, and where you're earning money and where you're not, and looking at cash flow. And so there's a lot to this, to making a living, but the goal has to be to make a living, because if we don't figure out how to do that, then what happens is the businesses of agriculture just get bigger and bigger and bigger because they think that's the solution: more land, raising more crops, instead of saying, all right, how can we do well with what we're already doing? Can we increase our production on small plots? Do we move indoors for, season extension? But looking at all the possibilities, and that's a big thing that I see with women is they are amenable and agreeable to looking at all the resources and saying, what can I do with everything that I have control over in terms of resources? So it isn't just about the cash flow. It's about how they market, how they communicate, how they promote their brand in different ways, how they involve their families. It's a whole different way of doing things overall. So some of the struggles that I see in mentoring women and doing consulting with women in agriculture start with their families. So sometimes there's a lot of conflict because maybe it's a family owned business that's been around for a while, and it's a unique idea that a woman's going to run it, or there's a lot of issues and not good communication among the other family members. So then there are disputes. um, the other part of that family piece is women are still managing children, and so there are safety issues. If you're going out to the field or you're in the barn, you're around heavy equipment. How do those children get managed? How do they not end up, with missing fingers and or being eaten by a pig? Or I don't think children have been eaten by pigs, but it is possible. And so there are a lot of challenges for women that are unique to females that are, more traditional in their thinking. And oftentimes if they have partners, husbands or wives or whatever, um, those people are working off farm because they can't pay the taxes or they aren't making a living. So there are many, many struggles, and the biggest struggle, as you pointed out, is that you have to have a lot of skill sets, and if you aren't good at some of those skill sets, you're going to have to buy those skill sets, and that costs money. And it's true, you can barter and trade services. You can trade meat for hay. All kinds of things that you can do. So there are some groups out there, and there are some opportunities out there for that are specific to women as underserved people in the population. So one of the things in Ohio that Carrie Starr and I did was start a group called Women Grow Ohio. And what we wanted to do was to bring women together. And so we did farm tours, and we did farm fairs with women managed or owned agriculture businesses. And we went on tours so women could share how they were doing their work and how they managed their business. And this was really, really a useful format. And so I would encourage women to organize each other in their region or even in their county, or especially in an urban area, and do that kind of thing, because it really bumps up the energy, and you learn what are those women's strengths. And maybe I need some help with accounting, or I need some help with project management, or any number of things. And that woman is really good at that. Or I'm going to steal her ideas. The highest form of flattery is imitation. And I'm going to try that too. It's not a competition. There's plenty of people out there that want to buy your products. It's just you have to tell them why they should buy your product.
Okay, well, let me interrupt you here for a second, Annie, and let everyone know that you are listening to When the Biomass Hits the Wind Turbine with Jay and Annie Warmke, reminding you it is indeed the end of the world as we know it.
Boy, isn't that the truth? And thank God.
Thank God. So, when it strikes me when you talk about agriculture is a lot of stuff. I mean, that's a pretty broad net and goes all the way from these mega factory farms to somebody growing something in their backyard and selling it on a roadside stand, to livestock. And
well, also working in all the businesses that are associated,
agritourism, and
yeah. But you might be selling grain, you might be selling feed, you might be a vet that does, farm animals. There's a huge array. I mean, it covers the gambit.
Do you know if you've got any statistics where women are dominating within one sector of this? Did the USDA break that down at all as to?
They do break it down, but it's hard to understand. I will
Well,
say,
this is a government report. You're
I
not
know.
supposed
No,
to
I will
actually
say,
understand
under
it.
Obama's administration, we had a fantastic website for women, and they had these webinars that were, I don't usually praise the government. Anybody who listens to this knows that, but it was really great. And then when Trump came in, the day he came in, they took the website down, and what came in his place was like 1955 or something kind of thing online.
Well,
And so we haven't done
they
well.
made it great again.
Yeah, okay, great again. And so, and this one, all the statistical stuff is just really hard to follow. They had under Obama, I'm sorry to keep saying that, but they had these individual fact sheets for each state, and it was like all spelled out. It was so easy, and you could print it out and hand it to anybody, and they would be able to understand it. So no, I don't. I think that we are primarily, if we were to say what sector, it would be growing vegetables and produce, because that, women are givers of life. And I'm generalizing that, of course, but it is what we've been taught to do. And so starting seeds, growing food, selling food to people, is I think that's the strongest sector.
Ever since Eve harvested some apples, right?
Okay. Next topic.
Give me a shovel. I'm going to dig deeper and
yes,
deeper.
you are. And that's
Mhm.
okay. It's cute. Um, another topic that we often talk about with, uh, when we're talking about how do we, work towards making a living, is internship programs and mentoring programs, because this is a great way to help particularly younger people who may want to get into some part of agriculture as a livelihood. And it's a way for them to know, oh yeah, I don't ever want to do that again, because I don't want to, pick vegetables or dig vegetables, or live the life of what lots of immigrants do. That they don't like it. But on the other
Well,
hand,
it's hard
people,
work.
it is super hard work. It's hard on your body. You get stung by things, bit by things. The sun is unbearable. So anyway, internship programs can be a great opportunity for learning the lifestyle of agriculture. So it's much more than just saying, how do I plant cantaloupes and harvest them, but the whole lifestyle of it. And we have an internship program for young people to come and spend time and live with us
Well, you've
and
made it
learn.
sound great.
Well, we don't pick, we might pick some vegetables, but we grow food for ourselves. And so we do work in a garden, and we do have food forest that we're building. And so there is hard work with that, but we do a lot of other skill sets that are needed in farm life, or in general around carpentry and things like that, where you learn some basic skills. So internships are out there. Um, if you check with groups like a farm association, or
or woof, right? The
well,
old woofers.
woofers, that's not really an internship, but yeah, WWOOF, worldwide or
Opportunities.
opportunities on organic farms. And you can sign up with them. So there are groups out there, and there are also farm unions that exist in most states, that may be a good contact for that. And then certainly groups like Women, Food, and Agriculture, which we call WFAN. They have a mentoring program, a really great mentoring program, where they actually pay the mentor and pay what they call the mentee. So you would make a little bit of money while you're learning. And that's a variety of ways that you link up with other women who are in agriculture. And then there are other local programs through groups like Rural Action, and you would have similar things in other states, where they have the whole farm project, where you can sign up and you do an 8-week or 10-week training. And I know WFAN's getting ready to do a year-long training. So there are all kinds of ways to connect if you need the real great the infrastructure information, and how to do it, and how to put it together for your own business.
Are these geared specifically to women?
WFAN is specific to women. or women identified as women. And the whole farm project is for anybody, but it is an awful, it's heavy on women being involved. And then there are groups like the group that Carrie and I started, Buffalo Gals Voices, that are out there that are telling the stories of women. And that seems to be a really great asset, is hearing how women are, how they're maneuvering and succeeding in the world of agriculture. Now, we used to have those opportunities because we came from families uh, with generations of experience in agriculture. But today, a great deal, a large percentage of people going into agriculture don't have any kind of farming experience, or they don't have any family that are there to sort of mentor them or engage them. And so these storytelling projects that we do through Buffalo Gals Voices are fascinating. For example, we interviewed a woman in Denver, Colorado, in a suburb, and she was an engineer and she wanted to be a farmer. And she's a young woman just starting out, got married out of college. And so they were trying to figure out what to do because land was so expensive and really not accessible. So they bought a rental property that had a big yard next to the college where they went to school for engineering, because the spouse was an engineer too. And the lease noted that a certain amount of the footage of the footprint of the yard, the backyard, would be used for their garden. And eventually they had several rental properties that were in this area, so they didn't have very far to drive. And they were able to create some niche products, some produce. They had restaurants that bought from them, and they were able both to leave their jobs as engineers and make a living by using backyards of their rental properties. And of course, they were very savvy. They were able to take advantage of depreciation and tax incentives, and upkeep, and so a lot of expenses that could be written off for their taxes. And taxes are a big deal in the world of agriculture and might be the only way you make money sometimes. So that was fascinating. Another woman had a relationship with a hospital. I think she'd done marketing or something for them. And as she got older, she wanted to farm, and they had a lot of land around the hospital. And so they gave her, for her use, I think it was 5 acres of land, which would be a lot of land to try to grow a garden in the first couple of years. But she actually did till that land and grow vegetables in the 5 acres, and she sold a lot of the vegetables back. They had like a fresh food day or something every Tuesday in the hospital, and they would buy the vegetables back from her. And then she sold the rest of the vegetables in a roadside stand that was there at the hospital. So this is the kind of innovation that we're seeing with women who are trying to figure out, how do I manage children? How do I have a life? And that's the other piece of this, is self-care. When you're trying to do 5 jobs at once, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that, it's kind of hard to figure out, where do I care for myself within that mix. So there's that challenge. So for the rest of the time we have, I wanted to talk about some funding that's out there, specific.
Show me the money.
Show
right?
you the money. All right. That's your first good comment today.
There you go.
No sexism in that. So, all right. So, the USDA has understands that women are underserved, and they also have other folks that are underserved. And so they have direct farm ownership down payment loans. So women who receive the loan only have to pay 5% of the purchase price of the farm, and the USDA will finance 45% to a maximum amount of $300,000. So there's that. There's also value-added producer grants from rural development, which is a part of the USDA. And the grants the grant person, the recipient, can receive $75,000 if they applied to the planning grant, for a planning grant, and up to $250,000 for working capital grants.
What do they consider value added?
Value added would be, so if you grew raspberries and you're going to sell them at the farmer's market or on a stand or wherever, but then you would take some of that and you would make jam with it and you would sell that. So you're going to make
not
that
just commodity. You're doing something with the produce other than just saying, here it is.
Yeah,
I took
it's going to be
more
more than one way to make the money.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's a simplified version of that. And so you can talk to USDA business program specialists, and I suggest strongly that you contact your local business USDA office. Generally, that's going to be called the Farm Service Agency and also the Natural Resource Conservation Service. Both of those services are available, and we've had other programs I encourage you to listen to around the Natural Resource Conservation Service, because they have lots of grants that can benefit women. Women aren't given a priority there, but those grants are really great for fencing and water into, all kinds of management things that you couldn't afford on your own, but they will help you with that. So women and minorities in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields. There's a program called WAMS, WAMS, by the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, and it's a cost share grant for up to $300,000 that supports research into projects that increase the consumption of healthy food and economic viabilities of small-scale farms. So it encourages women and underrepresented minorities in rural areas in order to build a more diverse workforce of agriculture scientists and educators. So, but the reason that that's important is because there are people like us who are doing research and are about to embark on some research. So we might say, oh, let's go after some of that money. And you can find that group, WHAMS, at grants.gov. Blue Ridge Women in Agriculture, that's another group that you can look at. SARE grants, that's a part of the USDA. They have grants that they give, and also Young Farmer Grant programs. FACT, which is Food Animal Concerns Trust, is a great supporter of not just women, but in general, and the Vermont Farm Women's Fund. And there are more. I encourage you to go online and look up all the programs that are out there that can support women in their quest to make a living.
Okay, great. Well, you are listening to When the Biomass Hits the Wind Turbine with Jan Annie Warmke, Jan Annie the Farmer Warmke. We want to thank our Emmy Award-winning producer, Adam Rich, and we want to thank you for spending just a little bit of time with us. And as your grandmother hopefully told you, the secret to a happy and sustainable life is...
clean up your own mess and eat your veggies, Jay.
And play nice with each other and apply for a grant. Okay, till next time. Bye-bye.
Blossom in the night, know the stars dancing in the twilight. Soon we'll be together, all will be revealed. Mother Earth will sing, and the children will be. You can find more information on living sustainably in our unsustainable world at BlueRockStation.com.